Hi, this is David. Today we're going to talk about Angular JavaScript framework. This is a framework for building single-page applications that can run inside of your web browser. Angular manages a lot of the complexity of those JavaScript applications. You can get started here at angular.io, and I'm actually going to be walking through the tutorial, which you can get to from Get Started right here. This series will actually span multiple videos as I go through this. Here on the Get Started page, or the Quick Start page, it talks about some of the prerequisites. Node.js is required. It says here you want version 8x or 10x. If I go over here to nodejs.org, there's version 10.15.3, which is the version that's running right now in April of 2019. And I can download that, install it. It's totally free, and it's a quick download. I'll also want some IDE, some editor to use, and I prefer Visual Studio Code, which is also free and also a very quick download. There's a button right here at code.visualstudio.com. I can download it for Windows, that's what I'm running right now, but there's also a version for Mac and for Linux, and they're all pretty easy to install, and they're all free. So these things talk about that, and you want the npm package manager, which actually comes with nodes. That's not a separate install, but you will want the Angular CLI. CLI is the command line interface, and the npm package manager allows you to do that with the syntax npm install -g will install it globally, and then at Angular/CLI. So if I copy this and head on over to my command line here and paste it, then this is going to go out to the web to the Angular site and install Angular Package Manager. Next thing I want to do is I want to create a new application, and this is the command line for doing that. ng new, and I can call that whatever I want here, but the tutorial says call it my app, so that's what I'm going to do right here. And it asks me, do you want to, yes or no? And of course I want to. That's the reason I picked it right here. There's some options that I can set if I want to, and I'll just press enter and accept all the defaults. This will go out to the Angular site, and it'll pull down all of the components that are required by Angular and a few optional ones that you might want to use. This takes a little while. It'll extract everything. But let's see while it's bringing them all down. It does some checking, and now it's done. It's brought everything down here. And you notice it created a folder called My App, so I'm going to go into that folder right here, and I'm also going to open up Visual Studio Code in that folder right here. And you can see there's a folder here called Source, and then there's a folder called App, and there's all sorts of things right here. Let's take a look at some of the stuff in here. There is a start page, index.htm. You can see this is all HTML here, except for this right here, app-root. And that's significant. That's something that's not an HTML tag. That's something that Angular recognizes. It recognizes it here on app component.ts. .ts means this is a TypeScript file, and TypeScript is a language that's strongly type, and it transpiles down to JavaScript. By transpiling, I mean that it is converted from one language, one text-based language, into another text-based language. Kind of like compile, which is converting from one text-based language into a binary language. So this right here, this is all TypeScript. Of course, your browser doesn't understand TypeScript, so that transpilation is necessary so the browser can do it, but it's easier to work with because it is strongly typed. And you can see things like the selector is app-root, and app-root, remember, is this right here. So it knows when it sees app-root, it's supposed to do something. What's it going to do? Well, it's going to load a template, and the template is app.component.html, which we can find right here. And here's app.component.html. And that looks like a lot of HTML as well, with a few exceptions. We've got another Angular tab down here, which we'll cover in a later video. We also have this syntax here. Welcome to curly brace, title, curly brace, and then exclamation point. So the welcome to and the exclamation point, that's just text, but this curly brace around the word title means this is a syntax used for one-way data binding in Angular. It says take this variable title here and display the value of that variable. And what is that variable title? Well, that's actually contained here in this app component class. Title equals my app. So when we run this thing, what we expect to see is all this HTML here. There's some links here with tour of heroes, CLI activation, Angular blog. These are just pointing out to things on the web. And at the very top, an H1 tag says, welcome to title, or in this case, welcome to my app. So let's run this, which we can do with this line right here. ng serve -- open. ng is an Angular command, and serve says serve up a web server. -- open. There it goes. It's building all the components. And it's telling you right here, if I go back to the command line, that it's listening on localhost 4200. And then actually I'll open up a browser and launch localhost 4200. And you can see, there it is. Welcome to my app. So welcome to is hard-coded, and that variable my app is right there. Here's those links that we talked about. There's an image in there as well. And this is the sample of what we're going to do. If I go back to here, then we can, for example, change the title from my app to something like this, my first Angular app. I'll just grab that, and in the HTML template, in the component, I'll change the value of title here. And now, if I save this, because that curly brace, title, curly brace is bound to it, then the H1 tag will change. In fact, if I save this right here, file, save, I don't even have to reload the page. It will automatically reload for me because it's listening on that, and it's welcome to my first Angular app. That dynamically changed this right here. We can also add a style sheet to this. So let me grab this right here, and you'll notice that template URL pointed to that HTML document I showed you before, but it's also the style URLs. This, you'll notice, is an array, as indicated by these square brackets, but it's an array containing only one style sheet. That style sheet is named app.component.css. And the Angular, when we did the creation of the app, it created that file for us. However, if you look at it, you'll notice it's an empty file. So let's paste into here something that'll show off H1, change the font of H1. I'll save that and then come back to here, and we'll see that the H1 tag now has a nicer looking font. And it looks like this. So this is the first steps in getting set up with Angular. When we show the next video, what I'll do is I'll go into the tutorial which walks us through creating what they call a Hall of Heroes app, an application that lets you maintain a bunch of superheroes. This is David. Thank you for watching.